lose control of my heart every time she's around. My defenses fall down when Terri's back. Terri's back in town. When Terri's back. Terri's back in town.
Hey Sugars, it's me, your host, Terri, and on today's show, it's part one of a two-part series of the 2021 Best Sugars Sugar Shack nominees. And it's also a chance for you to go back and watch some of your favorite episodes or catch ones you may have missed. So without further ado, on with the show. Sugars.
I guess, you know what, I think music's so great because we get a chance to work with so many great people, you know. I mean, I've been so lucky. I mean, I've had the opportunity to work with a ton of people in my career, you know, and as growing with each one, you know, like learning, cutting my teeth on stuff. I mean, I can remember like doing, you know, with Vicki Sue Robinson in the 70s and co-writing a tune with her, getting a song on the record, you know. Right. That was big stuff. I mean, mid-70s, that was heavy. I mean, I was like, whoa. And then doing my own records in the 80s with my live quartet, traveling with Eartha Kitt as her musical director, you know, piano accompanist. You know, then on to like, you know, Michael Bolton. We did a big tour with opening up for Bob Seger, you know, the Distance Tour for like, you know, that was exceptional. I mean, that was like, you know, whoa. And then moving through my stuff, I had my own solo career going, and then, which didn't pan out into a record deal, but we did a showcase at the Bottom Line, which was great. And then moving on to other people like Ricky Lee Jones, opening up for Ray Charles overseas. Then doing the Barry tour, you know, meeting Barry through my good friend Vic Vanacore. Getting an audition with Barry Manilow. Who would have thunk I would ever, you know. I was doing a record with my good friend Marion Meadows, who's got a gazillion albums out. He's amazing, saxophonist. He's like my brother. We've gone through so many good times together. So much time we spent together, and so much growing.
You're talking about Victor?
No, I'm talking about Marion.
Oh, Marion. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Marion, soprano, tenor, sax player, writer. You know, he's got a lot of smooth jazz stuff out there.
Yes.
And then we were doing a record in California at Capitol, and I invited Victor in on that session, which, you know, led to him asking me if I was interested in auditioning for Barry. I got the audition. He loved it. I did a song for you, and he loved that, and you know, I wound up getting the gig, and that was a world tour, '87 and '90. So,
wow.
You know.
And you've been with him ever since?
And off and on, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that
Michael Bolton during the '90s.
Right.
Then with Michael Bolton, I met David Guest. Then I was conducting for David, and that's when we did everybody, you know, Whitney, Chaka, this one, that one, Mariah, and it was like a who's who of working with all these great people.
Wow.
And then that led to me being co-musical director for the Michael Jackson reunion, which was, you know, a big CBS special.
Right, I remember that.
Me and Greg Fillinganes and I were co-musical directors. We had two bands. We had my band, and we had like aces in the hole. I mean, we had people like Michael Boddicker.
And I noticed you started doing the Golden Knights and the Raiders.
Sure.
And how exciting for Vegas to have this here to commemorate everything going on, basically.
Right.
I think it's really...
I didn't look at it that way.
It's a milestone, and you're commemorating big milestones of the city, like the Raiders and the Golden Knights.
Oh yeah, I've been here for the beginning of both of them.
You're basically a seal of approval. You're putting that seal on it to officiate it, so to speak.
Good way to put it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And you not only do the local entertainers, but you've done some big stars. And I'm just curious, have you been in touch with any of the celebrities that you've done?
Generally, like the ones on the board, the Lady Gaga, or the Rod Stewart, the Billie Eilish, Billy Joel. No,
Wow.
They have never seen, or may have seen it.
Right.
What did I say early in the interview? Everybody comes to Vegas.
Everybody comes.
So I am a huge seed planter. Seeds have been planted. All right?
Yes,
We're
they
watering them. We're fertilizing them. They'll be to Vegas, and hopefully at that point of time, because as you can see, one moment in time changes everything.
Absolutely
My motto.
true.
The seed, that's already done.
Yeah.
So they want to come in and buy it. Billy, your picture's for sale, and so forth and so forth. You just don't know.
And we don't know who we'll meet, and it might be somebody who knows them personally, who says, "Oh yeah, I know he's coming to town, and yeah, I'll bring him in."
Something that's important that you should 2 ears, 1 mouth attitude. Someone once said to me, and I love this. They said, you know the person who can change everything for you. You just don't know that that's the person.
This is true. This is absolutely true. I had my own experiences with that, and what you say is, it's actually surreal when it all comes to light, when it comes together.
Sure.
Absolutely. You did a sketch of Frank Sinatra.
I did Frank Sinatra.
Tell that story.
It's a great story. 1982. That was 39 years. Oh,
Don't forget that, honey.
39 years ago. You gotta go back to that. We opened up a new arena in our hometown of Worcester, Massachusetts, called the Worcester Centrum. It's now the DCU Center.
Right.
And Frank Sinatra was the opening act, September 2nd, 1982. And they commissioned me to do the drawing of Sinatra with the centrum in the background, 16 by 20 in size inches, and then we mounted it. I mounted it on a 20 by 30 piece of solid walnut, covered it with 1/4-inch polished lucite, took an engraved plaque, presented to in appreciation, opening act, blah, 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 blah. And in the middle room of the gallery, I have a picture of Sinatra holding that as the leadership of the Centrum presented him for opening the Centrum. Very neat.
And you didn't get to see that.
I was out of town on business.
Isn't that something? You went all that work and dedication, and for someone like, Blue Eyes, the chairman of the board, and you missed it. But you have the picture to come to.
It's just, to me, I don't look at anybody any differently. It's, what?
They're just people.
They're
just
people.
Like us.
It's what they do for work. It's, they get up in the morning, put their pants on the same. Listen, they may be much more expensive pants. I get it. But they don't change the routines that I do every day.
They're all the same.
Everybody's the same.
Facebook. Tell me about the Miss Monroe XOXO a little more.
It's a show I put together with a 7-piece orchestra. It's been performed all over the world on cruise ships, also in Asia. And it's a show I really put together. It's very love-focused. I think love is the strongest emotion we experience.
Right.
And so it tells different stories about the different types of love we have. For the love for my grandmother, Monroe, to the type of love we have for our animals, the type of love we have for our friends, our neighbors, our family. And all the songs just really climb the ladder through the years, from the 30s to finishes with Simply the Best in the 90s.
Nice.
And I'm working on another show that's more Broadway focused, but
are we getting the exclusive on this?
Yeah, you're getting the
exclusive
in the Sugar Shack.
Baby. Tell us, you're working on another show.
Yeah, I'm working on a Broadway show. I feel like, with Broadway being shut down, there's so many songs that are missed and loved or people had forgotten about. So I'm putting together a 45-minute show when we start back up.
Wow.
To do on the ships and around the world, and I can't wait to travel again. The last time I was out of town was in Thailand,
right?
And I thought for sure I was going to be in the ships in March of 2020, and everything changed. So I greatly miss travel, but I've really become grounded here in Las Vegas with my friends and family here.
Yeah, and especially with the pandemic, because both of us, we were really getting out there a lot more and getting gigs, and then boom.
Yeah, it was really, really disappointing and life-changing. And when people say to me, well, it didn't really affect me, I say please don't say that to me, because it completely changed my life, as well as getting the blood infection from my appendix. So, you know,
Which is what happened, which is why you weren't able to do the special.
That's right, right. And I'm grateful for all these experiences, because I know for certain it's changing me as an entertainer, as a musician, as an artist, and I have so much more to say and so much more to share, and it comes from different places, and the joy that I'm going to experience, or that I'm experiencing now, is so much greater because I've went through the pain. You know, I think Dolly Parton says you have to go through the rain to get the sunshine.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is exactly what's happening with me.
Well, so, yeah, I know you did a quarantine show. Not many, you did a few.
Yeah.
I want to show just a small clip of Katy performing during quarantine. I want to know about you.
Okay.
You're from?
Originally from New Jersey, Linden,
Okay.
town about 10 minutes south of Newark Airport, for those who are familiar with that part. Central Jersey, Union County, to exit 136 off the Parkway, because everybody in Jersey lives off of an exit somewhere.
Right,
So,
right.
Born and raised there, went to school at Penn State. What I do
Penn
now,
State.
That's right, we are. What I do behind a microphone, and what I've been having a ton of fun with for 15 years, I'm self-taught. There's great universities out there, like Syracuse University.
Correct.
Produce some of the best voices, like Marv Albert, Bob Costas in the sports world. I'm self-taught.
Right.
I answered an ad on Craigslist 15 years ago. A production company was looking for a color commentator for Junior Golden
I
Gloves
was going
boxing.
to ask where you started.
Yeah, and I sent the resume in, completely forgot about it, but I'd done some voiceover work, being involved with Kiwanis International in town. I was lieutenant governor, so, you know, I speak in front of audiences 5,000 to 5,000. Stages never frightened me. So I saw this ad, and I said, well, I'll give it a shot. Okay. So I completely forgot about it, and about 3 months later, I get a message back from the company that I sent it in. Are you still interested? I said, of course I'm interested. Now, you talk about taking a shot in the dark.
Right.
P.S. I went for an interview with the owner at a Starbucks. Brought in my last cassette
Was
tape.
there Starbucks back then?
Yeah, there was. There was at least 2 of them. Now there's like 2,000 of them.
There's too many.
That's right. Just like CVS's and Walgreens on every other corner. But anyway, so we went, we chatted. He gave me a script. I read it flawlessly, and he turned to me and said, I need you for the next 3 Wednesdays. Come with suits, ties, jackets. And I walked in. I met the host, the main play-by-play guy.
Right.
We got done with great chemistry, and I said to him, I said, I'd love to do a show with you. A sports guy, you know, he was an athlete.
Right.
I'm just everyday Joe fan. We made it work, and here I am 15 years later, a member of the Las Vegas Entertainers Hall of Fame, producing shows with other people, and now wrestling commentary. And I even have a seminar on how to teach people to do a podcast.
Nice.
So anything regarding one of these microphones, as my logo, my motto, let my voice speak to you, or for you, the voice. It's all about the mic. And that's how I got started. It was just I created my own opportunity, you know, and I haven't looked back. And do I think I'm the best at what I do? Absolutely not. I'm learning every time I get behind a microphone. But my biggest learning tool, because I didn't go to a university specific for communications, I've listened to every show since day one. I don't care if it's a commercial, a PSA, a hosted event. I go back and I listen to myself as a listener would.
Right.
Because when you're doing what you and I are doing right now, we're not really listening to the show.
Right.
You're directing, you're thinking of questions. It's going back when I can say, man, that was really a silly question that I asked my guest, or I talked over my guest, or I got to do this and I got to do that. And that's how I've taught myself to do it. And anybody I work with and train, that's what it really encourage highly. I don't want to say demand, that's a lot, but I encourage to be your own self-critic.
Right.
You know, and that's what's works. And I've gotten tons of compliments, and I'm humbled by the compliments that people give me when they come on and I interview them and we have fun together. I'm humbled by it. So far, so good.
Erin, what brought you to Vegas?
You know, your typical stuff. New Jersey was very expensive.
And cold sometimes.
And cold. I don't miss the cold. I have, God bless, I have twin daughters that are now going to be 28 in August. They were 3 going on 4. Mm-hmm. Didn't like the school system that we were living in. My wife is an educator. But more importantly, my parents were looking to move out here. Right. And it ended up being a move where we wanted to be close to them. Mm-hmm. And so 24 years ago, you know, I pulled up the last day I was in my house, and I lived next door to my parents, so there was the big 56-foot tractor-trailer moving van in front of both houses loading us up. Wow. Very surreal, because I thought I was going to live and die in Linden, New Jersey.
Right.
Okay, so you're making speeches.
Correct.
Basically. Do you remember what your first speech was?
In Toastmasters, your first speech is an icebreaker, which is a good subject because it's easy to talk about yourself.
Right.
So it was an icebreaker, and it was so bad.
Oh, no. So it was about yourself, but it was bad, you say?
The speech was okay. My presentation was terrible.
Oh.
But that's what we come to do in Toastmasters is learn how to speak better. Nobody is, rarely is a person born a really good public speaker. It's definitely a craft and a skill you have to learn.
Right.
And it takes practice. I could tell you all the things in the world, but until you experience it for yourself and practice, it just makes the difference. Like if I explained to you how to ride a bike,
right?
Until you practice, you're not going to be able to do it.
Exactly. And there could be speeches just about that exactly, about how to ride a bike. I was at a meeting, you did a speech on wrapping Christmas presents.
Yes.
Which was really cool because you didn't just make a speech, you had the whole presentation, the present, the ribbon, everything that went with that.
Yeah.
So Toastmaster meetings, you're a part of a club. What is the name of your club?
Renaissance Speakers, Las Vegas.
Okay, and I'm also a part of that club. And what would you say is a typical meeting in order from showing up, finish to end?
Each club is different. Each club has its own personality, but each club may be in a different order. But the general functions of a meeting are table topics, where you learn and practice impromptu speaking. Then there's a section of prepared speeches, so those are going to be longer. Somebody spent some time, researched a subject, came up with a speech, wrote it, practiced it, and they give those speeches.
Right.
And then the third portion of our meeting is, we call it coaching. It's an evaluation period where the speakers get evaluated because it's a learning experience. We're here to learn, we're here to improve our skills. So that coaching and evaluation period is really important because one thing I learned with Toastmasters is sometimes you have a skill and you have no idea that something you do is good until someone points it out.
Right.
And then some things you do are terrible, and you have no idea until someone points it out. So that's where we get to learn what we're good at and what we need to improve on. And then we also critique our meeting just in general, just for all of us, and how are we performing as a group.
Okay. And your Renaissance Speakers Club, how many members would you say, I mean, you're doing, obviously the pandemic had an effect on meetings. Did you continue meetings throughout the pandemic?
We did just virtual meetings for a long time, and now we do a hybrid meeting. So we have some people who join us via Zoom, and then we have some people in our office. It's in my office conference room, and it's huge, so we can easily socially distance and still experience the in-person meeting.
Okay. And I was invited to what they call an open house at the Renaissance Speakers Club. And Kristin, explain what an open house is.
When we have an open house, we still run the same kind of a meeting just so that everybody gets a taste of what a meeting is like. But we'll explain Toastmasters more. We take the time to share what the experience is and hear from our other members any kind of successes that they've experienced from Toastmasters. And sometimes we'll have our trophies and awards and food, of course.
Right. You'll have them on display to show. And you yourself have won some distinguished awards?
I'm a Distinguished Toastmaster, which is a program that you do. So it's really not an award, except that it was something I worked toward, like a diploma.
Right.
It's the highest recognition that you can get in Toastmasters. It took me a few years to get there.
Right.
But I also have won some awards where somebody thought I was fitting to receive that. And 3 years in a row, I won Toastmaster of the Year,
Right.
which was really exciting because I didn't expect it at all.
And 3 years in a row, that's
Yeah.
an accomplishment.
The holidays are over, but the stress may still be there, so don't hesitate. Come into Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa Silverado Ranch and let one of our licensed massage therapists rub away the chaos of the old year and help rejuvenate and re-energize you for the new year. And with each new membership, get a $20 gift card. Call 702-941-7833 to book your appointment now. And Happy New Year from Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa, Silverado Ranch. The Firelight Barn in Henderson is proud to announce Frankie Valli tribute artist Mark Maynard on Saturday, January 15th, 7 to 8 p.m.
Like a million miles away from me, you couldn't see how I adored you. So close and
Tickets are $21 to $28. Call 702-518-7464 for your tickets and reservations for Mark Maynard at the Firelight Barn.
You didn't get to keep the costumes, and you started out on cruise ships. What made you bring the show to Vegas? Do you remember your first Vegas show?
I sure do. Okay. It was at the Summerlin Library. We were very lucky to be able to perform there, and it happened totally it was a fluke. I actually had just moved here. I moved here just over 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. And when I moved here, I moved here from New York City, and I thought, if I'm not going to produce the Swing It Girls in Las Vegas, it's never going to happen. I mean, it's like, this is the perfect place to do something like this. Right. And so the feedback that we were getting from any booking agency was basically, well, you guys are great, but we need to see what your show looks like on stage, right, because we only had the cruise ship performance videos. Yeah.
They want to see a full production.
So I was randomly at the library, and I'm from the East Coast. We don't have libraries with theaters. Oh yes, that's right. I forgot. We don't have libraries with theaters in them. That's not something that I've ever heard of before. No. And so I was at the library, and I'm like, Performing Arts Center, what is this? What's going on? And I randomly knocked on Deandra's door, and she walked me through everything. She said, tell me about your show. And like I said, it was completely random. I just happened to be at the library, and boom. And then it all came together. And we were able to do our first Las Vegas performance there. We performed with a 7-piece band called Swing Machine. They're amazing. And now we have a great partnership with the Library District, and we've done a couple shows at Summerlin and Windmill Library. So
right. I've also noticed you've performed at the Space.
Yes.
and different veterans tributes. You're like the modern version of the USO, technically.
I mean, it's a similar style show for sure.
Right, exactly. And I happen to have a clip of just Erin singing a song. One of my favorites, the first time I heard it, was when Bette Midler did it from Where the Boys Are. Was that the name of the movie?
No, I think it's For the Boys. That's
For the
it.
Boys. And it was a USO type of show they were doing. Here's Erin singing stuff like that there.
I used to think romance was gone, a double Mickey for the icky, but all at once my heart was song. And baby, you've done it. I want some kissing and some hoping and some missing and some hoping and some stuff like that there. I want some leaping and some chasing and some weeping and some pacing and some stuff like that there. And when I get a certain feeling, I confess it. There's really only one expression to express it. I want some hugging, squeezing, mugging, teasing, and some stuff. I want some stuff like that there.
Good.
Rock and roll,
so he sang
soul,
blues.
right?
The man sang blues, gospel, and he could do no wrong.
Right.
And if he was alive and he was doing hip hop, he'd probably do that great too. But thank God we didn't get to see him do that.
Could you imagine Elvis rapping?
No, he would never do that. But I must say, I'm trying to be funny. But if Elvis sang everything great.
Yeah.
And that's what made him the best singer in the world.
He probably would have found a way to do rap.
He would have.
He probably would have.
Because there was no genre of music Elvis cannot sing well.
Right.
And that's what makes him the best singer in the world.
Aside from Neil Diamond, Elvis was an inspiration. Who else?
And the Beatles.
The Beatles.
And if I had to add a fourth, and those are the three.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three because the Beatles inspired me to become a musician.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones that made me want to play guitar.
Right.
And then I saw Elvis. And that again. Now we get back to what the original question. It was him that said when I watched Elvis for the first time in June 10th. See, I even know the day of 1972.
And how old were you?
She tried that yesterday. It didn't work yesterday. It's not going to work today.
Man.
I go like, I was young. That's all you need to know.
Okay. Okay.
And probably your age, like at that in 1972. And we don't have to talk about that either.
No.
I was with my childhood friend, and we took the subway. We were kids. We could take back then. Mom, wasn't the same thing. It was a little safer.
Right.
And Mom trusted us to take the subway. And I saw Elvis, and I don't want to say I was like one of the people in the audience that was excited because I was more like.
Right. More dumbfounded.
I was more dumbfounded in awe and hypnotized. Mm-hmm. And if anyone has seen him, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. I've seen Manilow quite a few times.
It's not the same.
And first I'm in awe because of the live performance, and then after a while, you could scream and carry on and dance. And
I know you're.
It's that first performance that you're just kind of.
I know you're a Barry fan, and I'm a Barry fan. You're a bigger one, but I still have I'm a fan.
Right.
I bought it. If I buy their albums, I'm a fan. Mm-hmm. But if you're talking about Elvis and Manilow, it's not. It's like once here and once here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, one of them is making the history books. And one of them is not. I'm
not saying anything.
I know that. That makes you a very smart lady.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate
that. Anyway, it was him that said, no, Beatles made me want to play guitar. It was him that said, like, all right, like the hell with the guitar. I mean, the guitar is good, and I want to be a stage performer.
Right.
Elvis made me want to be. I go. I want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure everybody's. Anyone that's seen Elvis, at least aspiring musicians.
Right.
The holidays are over, but the stress may still be there, so don't hesitate. Come into Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa, Silverado Ranch, and let one of our licensed massage therapists rub away the chaos of the old year and help rejuvenate and re-energize you for the new year. And with each new membership, get a $20 gift card. Call 702-941-7833 to book your appointment now. And Happy New Year from Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa, Silverado Ranch. The Firelight Barn in Henderson is proud to announce Frankie Valli tribute artist Mark Maynard on Saturday, January 15th, 7 to 8 p.m.
See how I adored you. So close, so close, and
Tickets are $21 to $28. Call 702-518-7464 for your tickets and reservations for Mark Maynard at the Firelight Barn.
So, but here's something a little comical and a little fun to share with you.
Okay.
Okay. So, I had been working with a rock and roll band prior to getting into the Army. Okay. And it was a very successful group. We had a regional hit single record in that area, tri-state area, and all of that. So when I returned stateside, well, I was stateside there in California, but when I returned to my home state of Iowa, okay, the group wanted to retain me and keep me involved with the band, okay?
Right.
So it was very popular back at that time. Consider that I was in the Guard from 1969 through 1974.
Right.
Okay. So in that time frame, rock and roll bands, the image was long hair, mustache, all of that. Okay.
Hippies. Ah!
Right. Well, the Army Guard did not have any opposition to the mustache thing.
It was the long hair.
It was the long hair.
Right.
So
I wonder why that is.
Cleanliness,
lice.
They want everybody to look the same.
Right.
You know,
okay.
you're just a number in the ranks.
Right.
Okay. No personality, no individual character.
Robot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Perfectly said.
Yeah.
So I was getting this request from the band to be continuing to perform in this group. Okay. So here's what we did. I got myself a short-haired wig. And I put all of my long hair up with a net and on these Army National Guard drills. We had weekend drills. Every month there was a weekend drill. Okay. And I would show up and I would be standing in formation. And I don't know if they ever suspected that I had on a short-haired wig.
Oh my God! And the stuff you go through, wearing a wig,
to appease what the regulations were with the Army Guard, but to still be the rock and roll guy for the gigs. Okay, so and that's how I played it out. And so I had one occasion. Now, we were traveling on the road, so I was able to get permission that no matter what state I was in, that particular weekend drill where I had to show up at their armory and participate for that weekend with them, whatever the drills were, whatever the training was, okay. And so there was one particular incident in the state of Missouri. And you know what they call that state? The show me state.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
No.
So I'm standing at attention. The morning is beginning. I got my short-haired wig on. Nobody knows that all this hair is crammed up underneath this wig, right?
This is crazy.
And I guess I didn't do that wonderful of a job of sticking it up through the back. And I'm being inspected, right? And this guy that's doing all of this, he says, I think I smell something fishy going on here. And I thought I was going to get found out. At the end of the day, he comes over and he grabs my hair.
No.
And I says, "This is Missouri, right?" And he says, "That's right, my boy." I says, "Well, I'm going to show you."
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And he pulls it off and he says, "Oh, my God." And, it could have been very,
Did you get in trouble?
I did get in trouble because I had fulfilled all of that.
The training and all of that
yes,
stuff.
Yes.
I have to ask you, Mark, you could have gone the other way. You could have had the short hair and bought a long-haired wig.
I know, but let's face it, it had to be, and I don't know that I get much argument on this, it had to be the ego of the self-claimed rock star.
Yep.
And then we made the plan for me to come out here in January of 2018. And meanwhile, she scheduled me to sit in with various pianists, and Ned was the first one. So I sat in with him at the jam session at the Tap House, and that's when we met. And he ended up being the last one, too, because he's like, no, I'll play for you the rest of the week. I was like, well, that's great. I like consistency. And we hit it off, and then I went back to Vermont and did a lot of thinking. I was like, I need to go out again and stay longer, and it was on the second trip 2 months later that I made the decision to move out here. And then I went back, I packed up, got out of my previous job, my apartment lease, and I packed up my life, and I came out to Las Vegas and did a show in Ohio on the way.
Oh, wow.
And Ned drove my car cross country. And
that is so cool. Ned, what were you doing before the two of you met?
I moved to Vegas in 2000. So actually, next week marks my 21st anniversary.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Yeah. And I'm also,
Vegas is so lucky to have both of you. It's so wonderful having you in our community.
I'm also an East Coast person. I'm from North Carolina.
Okay.
And so my accent's worn off a little bit.
A little bit, you think?
Yeah. So I loaded up the truck and moved to Beverly. So I came here with, I had a show called Piano Follies. It was like a music variety show I had done on the East Coast. And I came here, and between knocking on doors and shopping my own show, which I ultimately ended up headlining on cruise ships for 10 years, I kind of became everybody's music conductor, pianist, a lot of Rat Pack type shows. I wrote the music for Shades of Sinatra and did some guest conducting. I worked with the late Joan Rivers and Don Rickles, a few celebrities, and I was kind of the go-to guy when people needed a accompanist, the show. And I did a little stint as Jerry Lee Lewis in one show.
Oh, that was fun. Wow. I remember seeing that show. You were amazing.
I was shaking my nerves. My hairstyle was a little different.
With your feet and
shaking my nerves and rattling my brain.
A little bit different than Richard Carpenter, but he does them both well.
Yeah.
We have something in common. I met you at Tech House. The very first time I sang with a big band in Vegas was at Tap House. I sang Orange Colored Sky. It was you, Keith Neal, and I can't remember the others. I was so nervous. And it was amazing and a lot of fun.
How did your families feel about your choice of career? Were you supported in music as you grew up and continued your path?
Definitely supported, but I'm the only one in the family who's pursued an artistic career.
So you're the black sheep in the white dress?
Basically, yeah. The rest of my family is in dentistry, and I actually kind of strayed from my artistic sensibilities for a while and did the dental hygiene thing, which was enough to find out that that's not what I want to do, and pointed me back in the right direction for me, which was, performing and visual arts. I have a degree in painting.
And your mother came tonight to the show from Vermont, right? So.
I was going to ask, have your parents or family seen the show?
So they've seen the show, but this is the first time that my mom has seen the show here in Vegas. This is the first time that she's been out since I moved here. So
what did she think?
Well, she's seen it since the very beginning, so it's been...
She just happened to be here too.
She's seen it evolve and grow, too. And
she's seen it, since I did it just myself as Karen, and before I was even doing it in character. I would sing the songs, and then I would talk about the history in between songs. So she's seen all the different versions and the growth that it's gone through.
How it's evolved, exactly.
Fall down when Terry's back. Terry's back in town. back.
Big time.
I've been fortunate,
Big
yeah.
time. What were some of your most memorable moments working with the big celebrities? And you guys are you're up there. You're up there.
Well,
You go.
I was like really, really young, but I met Elvis.
Everybody I meet has met Elvis.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
How was that?
I have not met him.
I know. I don't think we're gonna. But
well, I was really young. I mean, I don't remember it, but the memory of knowing that I met him is really cool.
Oh my
But my
gosh.
father played on his records. My father's a bass player.
Amazing.
And he played, in the studio on a lot of Elvis records. So when my father was doing a session with Elvis, oh my gosh, he just came out. It's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay.
But those of you who don't know, we have a very humane person over here. Tell the story. Show everybody what you have here, and don't let them fall because.
I won't. So at 5 o'clock in the morning last night, Mark and I, we stay up until 5 every night because we've been playing clubs for so long that our bodies cannot get out of the schedule that we're on. But anyway, at 5 o'clock we went out because it was beautiful. The sun was coming up, and we thought we'll just go outside for a minute and breathe some fresh air. And we looked over, and the neighborhood cat was over by a shrub, and we saw him going like this, and his name is Loki, and I go, "Hi, Loki," and then we saw this little thing jumping around. It's a little bird. It looks like it's a little mockingbird.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like a mockingbird to me.
Poor
But
thing.
I know. But anyway, so we obviously couldn't leave the bird there for the cat to kill. So we scooped it up and we put him in a box. And I got busy on, DuckDuckGo. I don't Google anymore. But I got busy on DuckDuckGo, and I learned what to do, you know. And they said what to do is, you need to feed them something, and I don't have any bird, anything appropriate, no worms or anything like that.
Right,
in
it
the
has
house.
to be like, because not to be gross, but the mama bird regurgitates.
Yeah.
So it has to be some kind of protein that's...
Exactly. So I did eggs. So I scrambled a little bit of egg.
Good idea.
Yeah, and kept it pretty liquidy, as liquidy as I could, because I had a dropper. So I fed him that way, and he took it. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It took a while to get him to wake up his beak, and open it. But anyway, so then as soon as everything opened today, I got busy on the phone, and I found a rehab. We're on our way to take him to the rehab. Yeah, so that's why he's with us, because it's on the way. And the girl that's going to take him told me, this is what she said. She said, I rehab birds, and you'll read online not to touch it and all that. But she said, I have found that if you touch the bird and you hold it and you keep it warm and it feels
They need attention.
Yeah, they can feel, your presence and the warmth of you. And ever since I've been holding him, he's just like, he's so happy, and
he seems very content.
He's very content. So,
but he actually hopped out of the pouch you had him in while we were talking.
I made a little pouch with a little nest.
Oh my gosh!
But he's on his way to hopefully to be saved,
and sent back into.
Yeah.
Aww.
So anyway, he jumped out. So sorry about that. I'm just going to hold him.
Ooh, he's getting feisty.
Yeah.
He wants to be a part of the show.
Yeah. Anyway, where were we? Oh, Elvis.
Elvis, yes, thank you.
That's what we'll call him.
There you go. Okay, Elvis.
That's not the